Wow. We're already in week 4. College football is almost a third over of the regular season at least. Watching Houston play Tulane. This game started out quick. We all knew De'Aaron King, what he can do. Well, a 75-yard touchdown pass to start the game to Marquez Stevenson with 14 minutes and 46 seconds left in the first quarter. They got off to a hot start. They're winning right now 28-14, so I'll have that one on the background. Sitting here Thursday night before the real Week 4 matchups start tomorrow. We got Utah, USC headlining the Friday night games, and we finally have a few big-time games on Saturday. Michigan playing Wisconsin, Auburn A&M, obviously the big one in Athens, Notre Dame, Georgia. You also got Oklahoma State at Texas. And there's about 6 others that qualified for the 10 biggest games of the week that I will be predicting. We'll get into that shortly. First order of business on the Season Ticket College Football Podcast. This is episode 17. Man, we're already pounding these out. There's going to be a lot by the time the season's over. This season 1 of the Season Ticket College Football Podcast. Had a near-death experience again this week. This case, it was my running backs. I dropped J.J. Taylor, not really doing well, performing for me for running back for Arizona. He got hurt last week a little bit. Anyway, long story short, I was trying to keep it between. Let's see here, I got a list. I had at the time 5 running backs: Cam Akers, Keyshawn Vaughn, Jatarvius Whitlow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and DJ Dallas. Now, Cam Akers is a lock against Louisville. At home, I like him in that matchup. So at this point, ended up dropping Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he's kind of splitting time with that other running back for LSU. Plus, that's kind of more of a passing offense now. Didn't want to deal with the point disappointment that might come with him if I started him. So I just dropped him altogether. Now, Jatarvius Whitlow is playing at A&M. No go. I don't like that matchup. So it's between Keyshawn Vaughn and DJ Dallas. As the week was going, Keyshawn Vaughn playing LSU, 18th ranked run defense in the country. That's a tough matchup, even though Keyshawn Vaughn, in my opinion, is the second best running back in the country. Being a senior, hoping to have a big year, kind of started off a little slow for him. They're coming off the bye last week for Vanderbilt. I think Keyshawn Vaughn is due for a decent game, maybe 1 touchdown, 75 to 100 yards. But I don't like the matchup. Again, LSU's defense, run defense, specifically 18th best in the country. I just didn't want to mess with that one. So I picked up DJ Dallas along the way there. They're playing Central Michigan at home. Should be a relatively easier game for DJ, averaging 9 yards per carry. Came off a 3-touchdown game last week against Bethune-Cookman. So good game for him. I was riding high on him all week. I was leaning him over Keyshawn Vaughn, but I needed clarity. So I took to Twitter, as everyone should probably not do. But I did it. I had to tweet at the Cover 3 podcast. Here is the correspondence. Fantasy college football question. Keyshawn Vaughn or DJ Dallas in the RB2 slot this week? It's a tough matchup for Keyshawn Vaughn against LSU's 18th ranked run defense. Is DJ Dallas the better play this weekend based on the matchups against Central Michigan? Tweeted that at Barton Simmons, Chip Patterson, and Tom Fernelli. Expecting no response. I listen to these guys' podcasts every week. Super intelligent guys. I love their takes on college football. Great writers. Great. Fernelli is a great Twitter follow. If you don't follow him, got to hit that guy up. Both Barton Simmons and Tom Fernelli replied, and they both told me to go with DJ Dallas. Just great news. Oh, man, it just felt good to finally see clear. I came out of my near-death flex experience with clarity. And I now know for sure that my thought on DJ Dallas this week is the right one. Now, Keyshawn Vaughn, I like to see him get a touchdown and maybe 100 yards. That'll be a great game for him. Hopefully get his season going. I just haven't seen it yet out of him. I just haven't seen the big game, him break out of that shell. He's had some tough games already. He had the bye earlier, like I said, last week. And DJ Dallas has shown it. Did it against Florida. a little bit of an off week against UNC, but that was kind of a fluke game, I think. And then in last week, obviously, with the 3-touchdown performance. I like Dallas this week, and so did Barton Simmons and Tom Fornelli. So it was nice to hear that from them. And I'm going DJ Dallas this week. So that's the news that's running hot right now on the Golden Waves fantasy football team. So great news there. Ready to go to week 4. So with that, let's go into week 4 with the top 10 biggest games of the week, starting with Friday's game. Number 10, Utah. Going to Los Angeles to play USC. This game's tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on FS1. Utah is the early favorite. They are a 3.5-point favorite. Over-under set at 52.5. Now, I have Utah winning this game. I think it's going to be really close, maybe come down to a final possession kind of thing. Utah's a talented team. I think if Zach Moss can get it going on offense, running the ball, that'll open up the pass game for Tyler Huntley late, and I think they're going to be able to pull this win off. I have Utah winning against USC at USC 27-24. Again, that game tomorrow in Southern California. It's too close for me to do anything with a lock there. It's just the 3.5 points given to USC. I just think it's going to be too close to call there, but I do like USC maybe by a field goal tomorrow, 27-24. Next big game is the big noon Saturday kickoff game. Number 11 Michigan goes to number 13 Wisconsin. This game in Madison at noon on Fox. Wisconsin opening the game again as 3.5-point favorites. Over under set at 44.5. Wisconsin has not allowed a point this entire year. They had an off week last week. Meanwhile, Michigan can't score this year, it seems like. Their offense just has not really been able to put anything together. It's been kind of embarrassing. Their defense is looking all right, but the offense is just not good. It's not there yet for Michigan in what was supposed to be a great year for them. So we haven't seen that out of them yet, and I think going to Wisconsin is going to be an extremely tough game, and that is why this is my first lock of the week. I have Wisconsin against the spread. I think they win this game by more than 3.5 points at home at noon against a Michigan offense that hasn't gotten it going yet. Wisconsin's defense is going to be fired up to try to keep their defensive record of not giving up any points. They want to keep that low. I think they'll give up a couple touchdowns, but I do have Wisconsin winning this one 34-20, and that is your blue plate special, whatever you want to call it. This is happening. Wisconsin is winning this game by more than 3.5 points. I got them at 34-20. This is the only time I'll say it, but go Wisconsin. It'll look good for the Big Ten West, I think, for Wisconsin to be good, and then for Iowa to beat them later in the year. But as of right now, I think Wisconsin's going to win this. I think they're going to win this handily. Michigan just doesn't have it going on offense, so it just won't be. I just don't think it's going to be what Michigan wants to see. I think Wisconsin beats them handily. Next one's on CBS. Number 8 Auburn going to number 17 Texas A&M. Games at 3:30 Eastern in College Station, Texas. Again, a 3.5-point favorite. Texas A&M coming into this game favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is set at 48. This is going to be a close one. It's kind of the battle of the defense against Kellen Mond and the offense, and what Bo Nix can do against the solid SEC defense in Texas A&M. I think at the end of the day, Texas A&M is going to come out with this victory. Again, a close game. I'm taking A&M. I know they're the favorites, but I don't think Bo Nix, the true freshman, is going to have what it takes to get this one done. His first true away game, his first game was neutral site against Oregon, but this one is a true away game. Tough atmosphere. It's on CBS at 3:30. It's going to be hard for the freshman to win this game. I think he'll have a couple good plays, and I also think he'll have a couple picks, at least one, and that's really going to hurt Auburn in the end. I think A&M comes out of this one 24-20. I like the experience of Kellen Mond in that offense to get a couple plays, just a couple plays is all it's going to be to get by this defense and win the game. I don't think Bo Nix can keep up. I like Auburn in this one 24-20. All right, next game we're heading to Provo, Utah. We got number 22 Washington headed out to play BYU. Last time BYU played a football game, they upset USC at home on a last-second interception to win the game in overtime. So great start to the year for BYU, playing all these Power 5 teams. They got another one this week in number 22, Washington. It's going to be a tough game. I think this is going to be coming down to the end. Tough football game. Washington is 6.5-point favorites with the over-under at 51. I like BYU to keep it close, but you know I have Washington in the playoff. That's not looking too good right now, by the way, but I'm sticking with it. I think if Washington can get these wins in dominant fashion, they got a game coming up against Oregon, USC. If they can win these games big, they can make a name for themselves in the national picture, and I think it starts with BYU, who's got a couple of Power 5 wins already under their belt, 2-1. BYU. I like Washington to win this game by 6 points. I have them winning 34-28. Again, I'm not going to touch the spread on this one. I just think it'll be too close. It'll come down to a last possession kind of thing. But in the end, Washington, I think Jacob Eason gives them a drive at the end of the game. They got the talented receivers, obviously. Hunter Bryant at tight end has been a beast. He was a beast last game. And I think that gets Washington by a solid BYU defense. Washington wins this game 34-28 on ABC. Okay, jumping back, time slot a little bit, I guess, but I'm keeping it in the Pac-12 here. Number 23, Cal. Repeat, number 23, Cal. I did not think we'd see a ranked California football team this year. They're going to Oxford, Mississippi to take on Ole Miss. Games at noon Eastern on ESPNU. I think this is going to be a low-scoring football game. Ole Miss's offense is still developing, as is Cal's, you can say. They're just bad. But Cal's defense, I think, is legit. It's going to be a tough game for Cal coming from the West Coast to play in Central Time. It's a noon kickoff, so that would be – or is it Eastern? I don't know. Whatever time zone is it? It's an early start. It's a 9 a.m. start. Yeah, it's Central. Yeah, it's a 9 a.m. start for Cal. Jeez, I don't know why my math. Is that math? It's going to be an early game for Cal, nonetheless. It's going to be humid. It's going to be hot. Early morning game. Cal is going to have to be adjusted quick, drink a lot of water, and hopefully not fatigue in this one, as it's going to be a warm one. And I think, like I said, it's going to be low scoring. The over-under set at 41.5. Ole Miss is a 2.5-point favorite. Cal's defense is going to have to make plays if they want to win this game, because let me tell you, I don't think Cal's offense is going to be able to get much going early morning on a Saturday, which is 9 their time. It's a tough atmosphere for Cal to go to. I had Ole Miss winning this at the beginning of the year when we did, June win totals for whatever that counts, and I'm sticking with it. I have Ole Miss winning this one. I got Ole Miss winning 20-13, and I am going to lock the under. I just think it's going to be low scoring. I don't see Cal and their offense scoring more than 13 to 20 points. And with Ole Miss's offense still developing, especially against a very experienced Cal secondary, I think it's going to be a really tough game for Ole Miss to get anything going against Cal and their legitimate linebacker. Obviously, Evan Weaver getting ridiculous numbers a game in the teens for tackles. You saw what they did to Washington. I think they're going to be able to do the same to this Ole Miss offense and keep it low scoring. But in the end, I have Ole Miss winning this one 20-13. Lock up the under. All right, number 6. Next one. Kentucky going to Starkville to take on Mississippi State on SEC Network at 4 Eastern. Mississippi State is a 6-point favorite for this one, coming off a loss to Kansas State. Tough loss at home. 48.5 is the over-under. And I'll keep this one quick because let me tell you, I don't care about either one of these teams. And I don't really know anything about these teams, and I'm not going to learn anything about these teams. So how's that for an unbiased podcast? Mississippi State wins this one 27-21. Yes, I took exactly the spread, almost exactly the over-under. Like I said, Mississippi State wins 27-21. Okay, now to more fun games. We got the number 6 biggest game of the week. We have number 16, Oregon, going to Stanford, California. Games on ESPN, taking on the Cardinal at 7 Eastern. Justin Herbert has not thrown an interception all year, and he has thrown 11 touchdowns. Looking incredible. Another big game last week for him against Montana. More of the same for that offense. I think it's too high-powered for Stanford. Oregon is coming into this game as 10.5-point favorites. The over-under is set at 57.5. And 10 points, really? That's all you're giving Stanford? I think that Stanford's defense, you saw what happened to them last week against UCF. Now, UCF is a great football team, Group of 5 football team, and Stanford had to travel all the way from California to Florida to play that one, and it was a tough environment, and they got whipped bad. Defense looks soft, and I think Oregon's going to expose that again this week. Justin Herbert has got weapons. He's been throwing a lot to Jacoby Breeland, the tight end. I think that's his name. And they've been looking really good, and I'm sticking with that one. I think Oregon wins this game handily, 38-17, locking up Oregon against the spread. That is my third lock of the week, doing 3 a week, as I've said. But, yeah, I think it's just more of the same for Oregon's offense. I don't think he throws an interception, Justin Herbert, and I think he gets at least 3, maybe 4 touchdowns out of this. They may have a rusher in there as well. But Oregon wins this one handily, 38-17. All right, 3:30 Eastern in Fort Worth, Texas. SMU traveling to TCU, number 25. Game's on FS1. TCU is 9.5 pointers, 55.5 set at the over-under. TCU coming off a huge win at Purdue. Yeah, it's just Purdue, who's not looking great this year, but that's still a great win. Power 5 opponent, traveling out of state to begin the year and playing a legitimate Big Ten football team. It's a good win, a good confidence booster for the TCU offense especially, and their defense looked really good. I think TCU slows down SMU's attack. And I think when you look at Jalen Reagor, TCU receiver, it's going to be a tough weapon for SMU to stop. I think TCU, the 9.5-point favorite in this game, I think they win the game by 11. I have them winning 31-20. Maybe close in the beginning. I think SMU starts out with a quick touchdown maybe. But again, TCU's offensive weapons, their defense has been playing great. I think that they win this one in the end by 11 points. A handled victory for the Horned Frogs and for Gary Patterson in his, 19th year down there at TCU. Only behind the great Kirk Ferentz. It's going to be a good win for TCU this week, making the Big 12 still. Big 12 looking like the best conference right now. They got it's the most wide open, and TCU is one of those teams. So I like them this week, 31-20. All right, let's go to Texas. Oklahoma State traveling to play number 12 Texas in Austin on ABC. Oklahoma State has won the past few matchups. Oklahoma State's a great offense. Spencer Sanders, Tylan Wallace, Chubba Hubbard. It's a dynamic offense. They have weapons. I mean, the redshirt freshman Spencer Sanders at quarterback for Oklahoma State is ridiculously good, showing what he can do with the weapons he has. And I think that dynamic, effect of the offense, able to not only run with the quarterback and throw with the quarterback, give the ball to Chubba Hubbard or dish it off to Tylan Wallace, it's going to be tough for the Texas defense to stop. Obviously, they're not DBU. You saw what LSU did to them. Yeah, Joe Burrow's ridiculously good this year. That spread attack for LSU. But I think Oklahoma State brings that same kind of feel, but add in a extremely, powerful running back in Chubba Hubbard. It's going to be Oklahoma State's day at Texas. I think it's too much for the defense to handle. Obviously, you're going to see a good game out of Sam Ehlinger. It's going to be high scoring. Texas is 6-point favorites. The over-under is set at 72.5. It's going to be high scoring. But in the end, I think Texas loses again, dude. You can't. I like what I see out of Oklahoma State. I picked Texas back in June, but that was in June, okay? We're talking 2 days before this matchup. It's at 7:30 Eastern. It's the primetime ABC football game. I think Oklahoma State travels to Austin and gets this game. It's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to have the same feel as the LSU-Texas game. And, Guy, let me tell you, Oklahoma State's coming out with this one, 45-41. That is your hot take prediction for the week. Oklahoma State's going to make a name for themselves in the Big 12 Conference. The conference, like I said, that's wide open to anyone. I think they beat Texas. Texas I have as my number, 8 team in the country. I really like Texas, but I like what I've seen out of Oklahoma State this year, and I think they go to Austin and steal a win late. Expect a last, I think last team with the ball wins, and I think last team with the ball is going to be Oklahoma State. They're going to dump it off to Chuba, and they're going to throw it over the top to Tylen, and I think they're going to get that last. They're going to get the last say. They're coming out of this one with the win. I like Oklahoma State Saturday night. All right. It's game day. It's the game of the week. Notre Dame, number 7, traveling to number 3, Georgia, in Athens at 8 Eastern on CBS. Best game, best network. Georgia opening up. Right now they're sitting at 14.5-point favorites, and the over-under is set at 57. Now, you saw what Brian Kelly has said about this football game. Georgia is as in the news. They're expecting the largest crowd ever at Sanford Stadium. And here's what Brian Kelly had to say about that. He said, Notre Dame is the reason that Georgia will have a record crowd Saturday night. Let me ask you this. Don't they play in the SEC? Don't they play SEC teams every year? And Notre Dame goes down there and sets the record. Another reason why we are irrelevant. This quote from Brian Kelly talking about why Notre Dame should get more respect. Yeah, people want to go see the helmets, dude. I don't know. Like when Notre Dame played at Air Force like 10 years ago, went to that game, obviously, to see the helmets. My neighbors went. Obviously, yeah, it's Notre Dame. You don't get to see this team often. People want to see them play. I don't think that Notre Dame I don't think that they're underrated. I don't think that they're overrated. I think they're just a good football team, but I think Georgia is better. I mean, Georgia has got all the pieces right now. They're looking like the team to beat. I mean, in the SEC, obviously now with LSU showing up, you got Alabama, got some injuries on defense there, but I think Georgia really is the complete team. The defense, the offense, the running game. Geez, I mean, they don't miss extra points, Alabama. Georgia is really the team to beat, and this one I think is going to – they're going to show the nation why they should be the SEC favorite. I think Georgia wins this one. 14.5-point favorites seemed like a lot to me when I first saw it. Notre Dame, I think, will play well. I mean, you saw the game that Ian Book had last week against New Mexico. Just crazy stats. He put up like 68 fantasy points. Big-time numbers from Ian Book. I think he's going to do something similar. I think he'll have a couple passing touchdowns. They'll get a couple running touchdowns in there. But at the end of the day, I think he'll throw a pick. There's going to be a turnover. Georgia's defense is going to get the stop that they need. And I don't think Notre Dame's defense didn't look that good against Louisville week 1. Yeah, it's week 1, I know. But last week they played, well, they had a bye. Then last week they freaking played New Mexico. I mean, what's your defense going to look like there? They gave up 14 points. I don't know. I just don't know about the Notre Dame defense yet. I just don't think they can stop Georgia. Jake Fromm, DeAndre Swift. It's going to be a great game. I'm really excited to watch it. It's on CBS again at 8 Eastern. Georgia wins this game 41-38. I am not touching the spread. Like I said, I thought it was a lot when I first looked at it. I'm not going to take Notre Dame though, because I would not be surprised if Notre Dame keeps it close and loses this game by less than 14 points. Like I said, I have them only losing by 10. Just Georgia's too good. Georgia's too good of a football team. Notre Dame will respectively lose, I think. They're not going to get blown out like they did against Clemson in the playoff that they shouldn't have been in. Yeah, well, they should have probably been in the playoff, but that's a different topic. I think Georgia shows the nation what's up. Beats Notre Dame by 10 points. It's going to be a good game for both teams. But again, I like Georgia 41-31. So there it is. That's the week 3. Oh God, it's week 4. Jeez. Week 4 preview. Just coming out of the first half, Houston is now only up 28-21. Tulane making a comeback. They were favorites in this game, Tulane was. Surprised to see that. I didn't expect that. I also have not seen Tulane play a single football game all year, so I don't know what I'm talking about. The turf on their field is like alternating green and like a light yellowish green. Almost looks like it's dead grass. I don't know what the thought process was there. You're not Boise State. Just keep your green field, guy. But anyway, that wraps up the season ticket college football Saturday preview for week 4 already. College football season's flying by, man. So let's get it. Week 4 coming at you right now. Tune in. It's on ESPN. Tomorrow night we got a big one. Utah, USC, and then a full slate of Saturday college football. Get excited. Fire me up. It's week 4 of the college football season, and I'll talk to you next time.